Hello and welcome to Remote Jobs Live by Games Jobs Live, the event that connect brilliant studios with fantastic talent. If this is your first Games Jobs Live event, I'm Colin McDonald. I've been in the games industry for about 30 years now, worked across all manner of games and studios and platforms that many you'll have heard of, many you won't. And today I'm really pleased to bring you 5 fantastic companies that all have remote jobs that they need filled. So I'm hoping you can help them out here. Although our last jobs report showed that there are over 2,000 jobs currently going in the UK games industry, only about 100 were fully remote, with most companies wanting a return to the office in some form, maybe not full-time. Some of today's companies have offices that they will have some staff returning to, but others are completely virtual. So I, for one, am really looking forward to finding out how all the different companies today are making it work. As ever, each company only has a couple of minutes to present themselves, but we'll keep them on for a couple of minutes afterwards for some Q&A. So put any suggestions for me to ask them in the live stream questions channel on the Discord. But the beauty of these events is that you can ask questions directly as well. And for that, you want to be in the Discord. So let me just bring up that address. If you're not already on there, the URL that you can punch into a browser is scrolling along the bottom. It's discord.gamesjobs.live. That's discord.gamesjobs.live. Punch that into a browser and it will redirect you to the right Discord server. Get in there, and what you'll see is that each company has a dedicated channel for you to follow up with them. They're all there now, and they'll be answering your questions for the next 2 hours. The live stream portion will last about an hour and a half, and they'll still be on for about another half an hour after that, so you can ask any other questions without the distraction of the live stream and worried about missing anything out. The folks from the games studios in the Discord have a green company role, which means they stand out, so you know who's legit from a company, and it also means they can delete or ban any idiots. So alert them or a moderator if you see any nonsense going on. And thank you to Elspeth, who is usually on hand to help out on that in particular. She's been great in helping promote it on the Discord, etc. Don't give anyone any personal details on the Discord, however, regardless where they say they're from. If you like what a company has to say, just apply to them directly. There'll be an email go out after the live stream with direct links to all the company's careers pages. For everyone watching this live, you'll get the most out of this because you can chat directly to the companies who've kindly taken time out of their afternoon to chat to us. But I know not everyone can make this time, and lots of people will be watching on catch-up. So feel free to rewatch bits of it, and you can forward the same YouTube link to anyone else that you think will get something out of it. We've also got various resources up on the Games Jobs Live website to help you there as well. We've got an interactive jobs map with all those 2,000 vacancies across the UK mapped out, so you can zoom around and explore and filter them. We've got reports, we've got analysis of each of the sectors, the regions across the UK, a little bit about each region, what's going on, the history, etc. So have a browse around the website. You'll also find details about other events coming up. Our next one is in 2 weeks on Wednesday, 11th of August, which is an Unreal Jobs focused event. So if you fancy coming along to that as well, feel free to sign up. The link to that is on our website, which is www.gamesjobs.live. You'll also find a report which we produce every month that breaks down those 2,000 jobs in the UK, tells you how many are code, how many are in different parts of the country, how many are junior, senior, all that kind of thing. It's all interesting reading, so feel free to find that, subscribe to that, and we can keep you updated on that every month. And this wouldn't be a YouTube channel if I didn't ask you to like and subscribe, obviously. So please do that if you enjoy this. And I would just like to thank the companies that we've got taking part today: Outplay Entertainment, Hypixel, Glitchers, Rivet Games, and Puny Astronaut. Brilliant selection of companies, really interesting set of working practices, because everything's obviously turned on its head in the last 18 months, although some of these companies were working remotely before that, which I'm hoping we're going to find out more about shortly. So unless I've missed something, I feel like I'm running ahead of schedule, but I'm inclined just to let's get on and let's start chatting to the companies. Let me just check if our first company is ready. Kyle from Hypixel. I know we're early, but are you ready to go? I think he is. So I've revealed who they are, but the first company today is one of those fantastic success stories that I personally could never have predicted. It started 8 years ago as a Minecraft server, and it's still the largest one today. And they're developers of Hytale, the eagerly anticipated sandbox game whose announcement trailer has been viewed over 58 million times, I believe. So, great pleasure for me to bring in, slightly early, but he's prepared, Kyle from Hypixel.
How you doing, Colin? How's it going?
Thank you for joining us and being ready.
Yeah, well ahead of schedule. I think I popped in even a bit earlier than you told me to. So
fantastic, great. Oh well, it means we've got a little bit more time for Q&A. So I'll leave everyone in your capable hands, and I'll come back to you in 5 minutes.
brilliant. Just let me get my slides up here. So yeah, I'm Kyle from the recruitment team at Hypixel Studios here. So as Colin mentioned, we grew from the team that built the Minecraft server. So the initial start of the studio, I suppose, would have been from a YouTube channel, two people working on Minecraft maps and redstone experiments, that kind of thing. They started building Minecraft servers, mostly around adventure mode maps. That kind of then grew out to being a minigame server network, which is super popular. I know when we did the previous one of these with Colin, and shortly after I had joined, I think the concurrent player count on the Minecraft servers was about 70, 80,000. Over COVID, obviously, with everybody being at home, that I think peaked up around 130,000 now. So it's mind-boggling kind of numbers, to have on one server at the one time. So the Hypixel Studios Limited, which is who we are, was founded in 2018 to build our own game, our own sandbox, essentially, to play in. We've grown now to a team of over 75 developers, and we're leveraging the fact that we've come from this modern background, coupled with having some real industry vets in the team to try and get Hytale over the line. So, as I said, we have all that experience from running the Minecraft servers, and it attracted a lot of attention when we dropped the trailer originally in 2018. And one of those interested parties was Riot, who acquired us last year. They've aided in opening our headquarters here in Northern Ireland, but our entire team is remote. We're a remote first company. We've always been remote. So our operations and QA departments are located in our offices here in Derry. All the rest of the team is spread worldwide. We've actually got a page on the website now showing the team and where they're from. It's really globally diverse. So as I mentioned there about our own sandbox, so we thought, why build sandcastles in someone else's sandpit when you can make your own? That led us on to the development of Hytale. We're building our own engine from the ground up, and the game itself is kind of split into three, I suppose, main components. There's the minigame side, which is what we were so popular for on Minecraft. There's the adventure mode side, which is that story-driven, narrative-driven, whether that's a single player or, a group experience. And then the third part of it would be our user-generated content, how we want to empower the creators to kind of build their own worlds. Personally, for me, something that would be really rewarding to see after we launch is, the next Hypixel minigames network springing up within Hytale, but the fact that we've made Hytale removing the need for another Hytale. So As Colin mentioned as well, our trailer now is at about 58 or 59 million views. You can see that on YouTube or on the website for the game, which is hightail.com. So the entire package comes down to then we're trying to make an evolution of the block game genre, meeting the world's most empowered gaming community. So because we're all, a lot of us sprung from that modern kind of side, we want to really give back to that and use the experience we gained come through and making mods to facilitate the kind of next generation of creators to have an easy path to make the kind of experiences they want to make. So actually working here, which is the important thing if you're interested in applying with us, we've got some really good, testimonials from people who work on the team. On our jobs page, hightail.com/jobs, you'll see Budacat on there. He's been kind enough to help us out in the Discord. So if you do have questions, he'd be there alongside myself and our other recruiter, Holly, answering anything you want to know within reason. We can't give you beta access or anything like that. So the most important thing to us, especially with being a remote team, is trying to maintain that culture. And as we kind of grow from this small mod team up to a full-size studio, as we get bigger, it's really important that we maintain who we are. We have a page on our website that lays out our values really transparently. I can honestly say this is one of the only places where I've worked that it doesn't just feel aspirational. Obviously every company wants to have things to aspire to, and that comes across in, their culture statement or their studio values. We are very, very transparent on it. We want to create that environment where people want to work here. That's a big part of it for us. And we want to attract the kind of people who are aligned in with that kind of value and what we want to do with the block game genre. So we have a lot of people in the team who could pretty much choose whatever studio they want to work at, but they choose to be here, and it's a two-way street for us. We want them to we want to be able to reward that, and as I say, there the responsibility goes both ways. So anyone who chooses to work here chooses to work here, and we want to be able to earn that choice. So definitely check out if you are interested in the studio. And I'm a big believer in working somewhere you actually want to work. Take the time to take a look through that page and see if we might be a good fit. So what we offer on top of that, as I've said there, the team's super motivated, super passionate about not only the block game genre but games in general, and very, very player focused. We all want to design some experience that sticks in someone's head. And I think if you play any kind of games, everyone has that one moment where they're like, they get it. And, a lot of people don't consider themselves gamers, but a lot of people have had outstanding experiences with games. So the project we're working on is really ambitious as well, which attracts a lot of people. And we're a very knowledge sharing focused studio. We like to help each other level up. It's a big part of when we're hiring and stuff. We look for people who want to learn or want to pass on their knowledge. And if you've got experience in kind of that knowledge sharing, or maybe something you do in your spare time is to help others kind of learn, that's a big kind of bonus trait for someone coming to work in the studio. We also like to have a stable and secure work environment. We don't work on temporary contracts or anything. You're a permanent employee when you come to work for us, and the ability to work remotely. Now, given this little session is all about remote work, I'm sure everybody watching is interested in that. And I think it's really interesting the fact that we're not only a fully remote team, but we're a geographically diverse team as well. So that brings with it an extra layer of complexity, with handling time zones and that. And I'd say that probably the most popular question we would get asked on screening interviews is about how do we handle that kind of time zone. We're predominantly a PST to GMT +1 studio. So that means that the majority of the team is located between those kind of two time zones, from the West Coast in the States right out to kind of the middle of Europe, Eastern Europe. That's not to say we don't have team members that are further out than that. We offer, or we work off what we would call golden hours, which would be 3 p.m. UK to 6 p.m. UK. That's when you'll find you would have most of your meetings, or there's the most crossover amongst all the time zones, and that works really well for us. We also offer an employee benefits package on top of salary, and we have a bonus and incentive scheme too. And then there's a lot of other small stuff like, merch drops and that, and studio closes completely over the Christmas holiday as well. So we have a ton of current opportunities, and I just realized this image is out of date because we just had another role go up this morning for a technical director. But we've got opportunities across all the different disciplines, from art right through to like operations roles. If you want to come and work in the head office with us, we offer relocation packages as well. For any of the roles that would be based in Northern Ireland, we would offer visa support and a relocation package. On top of that, it is a beautiful place to live. We have a very affordable cost of living, so it's not all bad at all. We are, at the minute, you'll see we're hiring a lot of kind of senior tech roles. We're trying to fill out the teams with a bit more knowledge to enable us to kind of bring in people who are closer to the start of their journey, graduates and stuff like that. And internship programs is something we are planning for in the future. We don't have anything at the minute, but I know, especially given the time of year and that there'd be a lot of graduates watching this. So keep your eyes peeled on our social media and on our website. So again, go to hypixelstudios.com/jobs, check out any of the roles there, or if you've got any questions about the roles, grab us in Discord. We're going to be around for the next couple hours. I probably should have said, Colin, that was me done. You can come back in here.
I'm a bit slow, but I get there eventually.
You're
Don't worry. We'll just leave that link on screen just for a minute or two, just so folk can explore it just now, if you want, because as Kyle says, the jobs have been updated since he put his deck together. So do check those out. A few questions. So I guess you're unusual in that you're remote first, but also have a headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the split of, who's in the headquarters, and how does that work in terms of working with the rest of the team that are all over?
Yeah, so our operations team's based in there. So that would include like recruitment, HR, finance department. And it's kind of the brain of the organization in terms of being able to facilitate the dev team's work. So we're there, there are kind of players, So there's about 10 people in the operations team at the minute, and then we've also got our QA team based in there. It's pretty small at the moment, but obviously as we kind of ramp into production and get closer to release, that will, I think, grow a lot. So I would say there's probably 15 to 20 in the office, and the rest are entirely remote at the minute. And we're just about, I think even the 75 will be out of date on Monday because we're at about 80 now. But so we have jobs and we have roles coming all the time. So it's worth checking the website every week or two.
Great stuff. That must be pretty exciting to be part of.
Yeah, it's interesting, being here at the start and getting to see it kind of grow from the studio opening. And, that's not to say there was a load of work done before I joined, but I think I joined at a really interesting time where we were just moving into the studio. Not that we haven't had much of a chance to be in the last year. We've luckily been in the last few weeks, but we're pretty flexible as well. I'm working from home here today. So remote working is really at the core of what we do.
Okay, great. You said Hypixel's done in your own engine, your own sandpit, if you like. In terms of looking for people with experience, does it then make a difference whether people have got, Unity experience, Unreal experience, whatever?
Everything's transferable when it comes to engines like that. Obviously, if you have experience working in bespoke engines, or proprietary engines at another studio, that you're just going to understand, I think, the problem set that comes along with that better than if your experience is only in something like Unreal or Unity. But our engine is a combination of C# and Java. So, if you have worked in Unity, you've likely touched on some C# anyway. And if you're working in Unreal and C++, then, you're going to be able to pick up C# pretty quickly anyway. So we are interested, people have skills outside of kind of roles that they've been in as well. And if you can get that across in a CV or a cover letter and, we get a chat to you because you look interesting, then it could work.
Okay. That actually leads on to one of the questions from Cree and Brucey in the Discord, just asking what are from the other side, from an art side rather than a code side, what are the key elements in someone's application or portfolio that you'd be looking for?
So it does depend on the artist role. We try and be, give a bit of clarity as to what we're kind of looking for. If you're for art roles, especially if you're familiar working on kind of stylized role or on stylized art in particular, and you've had a look at some of our art and it's close or in that kind of same realm, that would be very attractive to us. For roles like VFX as well, our kind of stylized art or the kind of stylized stuff that like Rare does with their VFX, that would be similar to what we do. So it is just kind of about trying to get that match or get across in your portfolio, which is difficult at times. If you're applying for a whole load of roles across different studios and you've kind of got the skills to do a couple of different styles, it can be difficult to pull together a portfolio that's specified to one studio, and getting the time to do it as well. But the ability to work in that kind of stylized would be the main one.
Okay. And what about, although you've got a whole bunch of positions there's almost something for everyone. What about those that there isn't something? Do you take speculative applications? How often do you update your vacancies? How often should people check back?
Yeah, so feel free to grab myself or Holly on LinkedIn. You'll find us on the Hightail page there, or the Hypixel Studios page, sorry, on LinkedIn, if you just search Hypixel Studios at the top, and grab us on LinkedIn, and we can have it, send us a message with what you do and we can have a look, because sometimes there'll be roles that are in the pipeline. Maybe, we'll know we are looking for that kind of profile in maybe 3 or 4 weeks or a month or two. So it's always worth, like I would always say, I came through games education in the mid 2000s, and Holly laughs at me because it dates me so much. And I remember back then, going to a lot of conferences, and just at that stage when you're a graduate, it's more about speaking to people, because you could be speaking to someone at an event like this, when they hear about a job and they're like, oh, that person I was speaking to at this event, could be good for that. So it is worth just speaking to people,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The 2 bits of advice from doing dozens of these events, the 2 bits of advice I keep hearing are, speak to people, broaden your network as much as possible with other people that are looking for jobs, with companies, with whoever it is, and practice. Just practice your trade. Keep improving, keep working on your portfolio, keep doing game jams, all this kind of stuff. So great advice, I think. Okay, Kyle, we're going to let you go and jump on the Discord. So hopefully there's a bunch of questions for you there. If anyone's not already on the Discord, the link is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. In a browser, punch in discord.gamesjobs.live, and that will redirect you to the right Discord server. Hopefully you'll get on there, because you want to be on the Discord. You want to be asking Kyle and Holly questions. They're there for the next hour and a half, and so are all our other companies. So jump on and fire away, find your dream job and get applying.
Yeah. Thanks, Colin.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for joining us, Kyle. Cheers. Bye for now. Great stuff. Okay. Oh, lots of good advice and fascinating company. Yeah, one of those companies I never could have predicted would have even existed, let alone do so phenomenally well. So fantastic to hear from them. Get on the Discord, chat to them, and get applying. Of course, the best way to get in a job is just to keep speaking to people, keep persisting. And you'll get there in the end. We're running a little bit ahead of schedule, which I never say that. So this is really unusual. So let me just check that our next guest is ready to come on. Max, are you okay to come on? Yeah, I think he is. Okay, let me just quickly give a quick introduction. So our next studio is one I actually knew from London when I used to work down there with Channel 4. So I was delighted when, after the pandemic hit, that they let me know that the founders realised that they could be based anywhere, and they moved up to Edinburgh, where I am. But with team members elsewhere in the UK and in Europe, here's Max from Glitchers to tell us more.
Hello.
Max, hello there. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Colin. So good
No,
to be
not at
based
all.
around the corner now, even though we're
Well,
still pretty much locked in.
indeed, yeah. We've now lived in the same town for a year and never met, so we will.
We'll do it.
Great.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
thanks for the intro. I'm ready to present if you want me to chuck my slides up.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll dive out and bring your slides in.
Awesome. Just double checking there on the screen. Yep, here we go. So hi, I'm Max from Glitches. Run a really sweet little studio making games, and we founded in 2013, so we've been going 8 years almost, which is exciting. Can't believe how fast the time's gone by. We're based in Edinburgh first and foremost, but we have team members across the UK, and we also have a developer in Tokyo. So we've got London, Tokyo, and Dundee international. We're a BAFTA nominated studio, and we're winners of a ton of awards across various projects. As you can see, there's just a few here. Honestly, like, we've been very lucky to work on some incredible projects, which I'll introduce to you in a second. So the types of work that we do is split into two main sections. One, the stuff we do for ourselves, like our own IP, the things we really want to take wild risks on. And then we also create IP with partners. So this is where we've been very fortunate in working with companies that are very often outside the game space. You can see here on the left, we've got Sea Hero Quest and Fofo with healthcare companies. And then we've got Nestlings and Nestums with fintech company. So we kind of get to really exercise our game design skills, I guess. Sea Hero Quest is one of our notable projects where it was one of the first games really, well, it was the first game where anyone could help scientists fight dementia. But in the sort of like world of citizen science games, we're super proud to have released this with neuroscientists and help get them a load of data they needed to understand a bit more about like navigational ability. Nessums is a really awesome game. It's kind of like a game / utility thing where parents can help their kids learn about money. So first and foremost, a financial literacy tool to help parents guide their kids through that kind of early stages of numbers and money development and stuff like that. Sorely lacking, I think, in a lot of education. And here's something a bit different. This is Drive-By. This is one of our recent releases, a cross-play party game between Nintendo Switch consoles and PC. You can all play in the same game. Really cool. Good fun four-player game. So, Glitches Studio. The cool thing about us is we're in a very unique position to focus on games for good. So stuff that goes beyond entertainment. We're a very small team, but in our small size, we're still very diverse, and we are, I'm happy to say, a fully remote studio. It has worked. The pandemic hasn't slowed us down from making games. In fact, I think it's made us stronger. But in that process, we've learned that, you know, making games is part of our job. We've also got to look out for each other and make sure that we prioritize the care of the individual employees as well, because making games is a tough thing. You know, the industry has a really bad rep for things like burnout, and it has a really bad rep for sort of all kinds of issues. And we don't want to be that company. We're making games for good, so also we want to look out for each other as well in the process of doing that. So we've come up with a really nice flexible approach to working. We really just don't want crunch, and we want to put our employees first. Like, we think that if we do that, we build the best products. So there's a lot of trust, and there's a lot of kind of self-start in Glitches, which makes us really, really powerful and punch well above our weight. So I think for us, it's like a really good time to say, you know, it's a time to challenge the games industry norms and try and be a positive change for good, positive force for good in this space. The question is, will you join us on our next groundbreaking adventure? Because we do things differently. These are some of the positions that we have on our website right now, glitches.com/job openings. We've got development roles, production roles, QA, art, 3D and 2D art. So have a look at those and see if there's something that fits. And if not, you can always reach out to us. My personal email is max@glitches.com, or if you want to reach the wider team, you can throw your throw yourselves into the hello@glitches email address, which will get picked up by support. Yeah, any questions? I'd love to answer any questions you have for us.
Great. We'll see what questions come through. A couple from me initially, though, Max.
Sure.
Other than trying to work out which billionaire space mission your footage is from there, but the team member you got working in Tokyo. I mean, Kyle from Hypixel talked about time difference being one of the core considerations with remote working. Tokyo's quite a big time difference. How does that work?
It works because, I mean, fortunately for us, Roger is a bit of a night owl. So his approach to development has always been like, I want to start late in the day. And it just happens the time difference really works for him. I think it wouldn't necessarily work for everybody. But it's one of those things that we do, monitor closely, because I think we don't want to be in a situation where someone's just doing something because they think that's what we want. So part of, being a company that's really focused on each individual member is to talk to everyone routinely and find out what's going on, what stresses are happening, what things we can do to make their lives a bit easier, knowing that if someone's happy, they're going to do a great job. And ultimately, we want to be building these groundbreaking products. So yeah, it's something we definitely take into consideration. It just suits Roger. He's very much a night owl, like I said.
Night in Tokyo's it's kind of how you picture it anyway, isn't it? I mean, that's how you want to imagine it. So fair play to him.
Like a neon lit cityscape, yeah, coding away. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know myself from my years in game development. I always thought part of what made you a good game developer was, having a passion for what you do and enjoying what you do, enjoy playing games, enjoy making them, enjoy making fun games. When so many of your games have got an extra purpose, they've got a social good and something really tangible. I mean, you're literally changing the world in some cases. I mean, how much extra does that help? In terms of motivation and guidance of what you're wanting to do.
Oh, that's an amazing question. I think building products for entertainment, not to ever poo-poo on that, because entertainment is super valuable. But what I love is being able to use games like the strengths of games and to try and lean on the things like people love playing games, right? And if you have a really nice mechanic, you don't just have to use it for the pure entertainment end goal. There can be other things that you can build into that. And if you're doing that from the start, like we really are lucky that we, have been able to work with neuroscientists on Sea Quest and work with them to design the levels so they're getting data out of the way people navigate, and also being very upfront about to the players. We're not just collecting it nefariously in the background. It does make a big difference, but it is also a challenge. When you have the restriction of data coming out the other end that has to be valid for scientific reasons and has to be formatted in a way that can be thrown straight into machine learning algorithms, there's this added challenge. And I really relish that opportunity to do something which isn't just do the really hard thing in the first place, make the game, but then also have that added kind of thing at the end of it, which is like, where will this go afterwards? And Sea Quest has blown us away in what it's been able to achieve. And it continues to achieve now. Like, it's something that we continuously support with updates for researchers, even though it's no longer available on the App Store. It lives on. So it collected like 4.5 million participants' data. So it was like by far and away the biggest ever research product in dementia and navigation individually. And then they actually went and published the results from that, and they're able to detect anomalies in people's navigational ability using the data from the game up to 10 years earlier. So potentially channeling people earlier into therapy or whatever, drug trials, or it's super cool. So there's a really positive feeling towards that.
No, that's absolutely amazing. And a good question. So this isn't really job related, but a really interesting question from, I've lost the comment here. Oh, it's Corin Bailey in the comment just saying, thinks it's a really cool area. Do you think the pandemic's increased the demand for these sorts of experiences and the sort of appetite for doing more good?
Probably. It's definitely delayed some of the projects we've been working on. So there's been a negative impact. But I think overall, and this is my opinion, right? I think that the whole kind of digital space, the whole digital industry of games and things like that, there's been a lot of quotes from PlayStation and like Xbox teams saying that it's accelerated the growth towards like digital content. And I think that more and more people coming on board to games, it means that the variety of what audience expect opens up as well. So I think that there's more audiences available for more kind of interesting, niche, weird things. But if we can somehow couple like even super popular game mechanics and then do some kind of science to them, I think people would believe that's more possible now.
Yep. What have we got? Mumbles is asking, can they apply for 2 different positions at the same time that they think they're eligible for?
Sure, why not? Yeah, do it.
Great. And then more generally, Pumpkin was asking just your general advice on what's the best way to make an application stand out for you.
The first thing I do is look at the portfolio. So let's say you applied for the 3D art job. I will probably skim read this sounds bad. I'll skim read the text. If it's too long, I'll definitely skim read it. Just look for a few key things. Like I'm looking for keywords like any experience that you've got in, big studios or projects that have come to completion. But I'm mainly just going to jump to the portfolio and look straight through that and get a vibe off that if I like it. I hope that helps. Keep it short and sweet and just put the best stuff at the top.
Yep. Well, and only good stuff. Don't stuff it with all your things. Be selective. As well. I would say.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's pick one final question. You've got a Unity developer role. Are you looking for a certain amount of experience for that? Are you open to any level?
I think, yes, we are looking for a certain level of experience. If you are very new to the world of game development on the coding side, I think still apply because, sometimes people just have that certain magic that, they're just going to pick up stuff super quick. And we're not adverse to that position. I really, really think that we should be spreading the net as wide and far as possible to find talent. And talent doesn't come in the same shapes and sizes every time. It's not necessarily very clear from the outset, especially if you're applying for a job, like what the parameters are. I try, and you'll see on the job listings, not to put too much information because that means I want as many applicants as possible because I don't want to turn someone off from applying if they don't fulfill one bullet point, So I really only try to keep the core things there. For Unity, having shipped products under your belt is a real plus. And working as part of a team that has shipped products in a commercial capacity is a real plus. But those things can also be learned, like someone's always started from somewhere. There's a potential that we may have the capacity to help someone start that journey.
Perfect. Okay, Max, that's been really interesting. Thank you so much for joining us. You're on the Discord and a colleague of yours as well, am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
Perfect.
Colin, before I go, I would just like to tell you what this animation is in front of you. I was meant to tell you at the end of the talk. This is just the Sea Hero Quest VR project being tested in low gravity. So VR headset on someone going through low gravity. And the objective was to see if there was any effect on navigation. They wanted to expand the study into actual space. They wanted to see if there's any effect on navigation in low gravity. So that's the reason that was there. But it's super cool seeing your headset in low gravity. Anyway, just one of the weird things that happens with Sea Hero Quest. There's loads.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Very cool. Very cool. Great stuff. Okay, Max, thank you for joining us. Please do follow up. There's various questions I've not been able to ask, but I know everyone's got loads more questions. So get on to the Glitchers channel on the Discord. If you're not already on, The address is discord.gamesjobs.live. Punch that in a browser. It will redirect you to the Discord server. Get on there and fire away the Glitchers channels with all your other questions. And then if you think a job's a good fit for you, get applying. And whether you end up in Edinburgh or not, you get to work on some amazing projects like that. How good would that be?
Awesome. Thanks, Colin.
Max, thanks very much for joining us. Cheers. Bye. Okay. Well, we're back on track. That is great. It's almost like it was planned. So our next company both develop and publish a string of successful mobile games covering a range of genres, IPs, and most recently getting Gordon Ramsay into a game. So great to be able to introduce Outplay Entertainment's technical lead, Angelo Leggio.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hey, Angelo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Not at all. I will just hand over to you.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm here as the technical lead of the backend tech team Outplay. So I will be giving you a little tour of what we do in the company, what the company does, what we do in the company, what we are looking for. So to start, I would like to say, as I am specifically working in the backend tech team, so this presentation will be geared toward the backend tech side of things. So it's not about the clients and front end work. It's more about what happens behind the scenes, let's say. So I have a little presentation that I will share. Yeah. So the Outplay has been game developer for almost 10 years, and we develop games for mobile apps. And the company has been developing a lot of different games over the years. This year, 2 titles came out. One is, as Colin mentioned, with Gordon Ramsay is featured in the game, and he's like talking, and he will judge you, no mistakes. And we have a lot of different other games that you can download and play, and they have different styles and types. Now, all of them rely on a backend tech kind of side of things, which is pretty solid. I just skipped the index. So today, apart from talking about the games, I will talk about what we do in Outplay, and what are kind of a very brief overview of what we do every day, and what are we looking in terms of positions, and a little info about the review process, the interview process. So how does that work? As you can see, we have like the player is at the top, then we have the game UI, some libraries. So this middle box is what happens in the client, so what happens in the device and what people downloads. But then everything is backed up by our backend tech architecture. So what we deal with from the back is player profiles and scores, inventory, the live ops, which are the events that happen from time to time, and that allow players to join some special competitive, collaborative, and one-shot, and all of types of special things that go on in the game. We also handle like chats and clans, so all the social part of the games, and there's a lot of analytics going on, of course, to support sales and marketing and all of that. So everything is handled in a cloud microservice architecture. So we have everything in AWS, and all those services together provide all these features that I mentioned, and they tie and communicate with all the different clients and the different games. So what we do every day as a backend tech team, of course, we have all the work around delivering the features. So of course, we get requirements, we discuss them, we estimate, we plan, and we do all our implementation, and we test, and then we also take care of the operations. So we are responsible for DevOps and that, like, the architecture is still working, whatever happens and whatever the life throws at us, we make sure that things are kind of keeping together. So we have an agile approach working. It's kind of Scrum-based, and we do their ceremonies and all of that, but modern software engineering practices, and we care a lot about quality and sustainability, maintainability, all of that things. So what are we looking for? So we are currently looking for 2 positions. So we have a senior engineer position and a mid-level engineer. We are looking for people who have relevant commercial experience in AWS. So we are very busy. There's a lot going on. And so we are hoping to find people who has a lot of experience on AWS, or at least different degrees of experience on the AWS, specifically what support microservices architecture, so Lambdas, all different types of databases, and the DevOps practices, pipelines, and all of that. So we are very hands-on. We work on a lot of different features, and we want to be, we are looking for people who can join us in all the fun. We care, as I mentioned before, we care about quality, and we want people who can add their knowledge and experience. But of course, we are very happy to teach and help people grow on all the different aspects of software engineering. The interview process is pretty standard. We have an informal chat at the beginning. If that goes well, we forward the practical test, or we do a practical test together in a live interview. Then there's a meeting that is more like in theory, more a theory test with the backend tech team members and culture fit as well. And then a final meeting with possibly some managers, the tech department leads and people of that level, so that to close off the interview process. So yeah, I shot a lot of different information and details. Feel free to ask any question. We are listening on the Discord channel. We are very happy to help people understand exactly what we do, what we look for, and we are eager to find people that want to join us in this amazing journey that is working at Outplay. So, Colin, this is all from me in terms of the presentation. I think we can close it, and I'm open to questions.
Okay, great stuff. Your bits of your deck were probably too technical for me to ask questions about, but the one I did do a programming degree, but I've forgotten it all. It's a long time ago now, as you can tell. The one question, I mean, in terms of AWS experience, I mean, are you looking for people that have got that in games specifically, or can it be from anywhere?
Very, very good question. So as we are on the backend side of things, it's good to note that we don't actually require people who have already a lot of experience in games. Actually, we don't need that specifically. We are actually looking more for technical experience in AWS in any context, because then we can fill in the gaps and help people get on board with the specific knowledge of the game. But that is not relevant. It's not like a prerequisite for us to hire someone.
Okay, and then I thought it was great getting insight into your interview process. Where you had to meet the team, was that just a massive interview?
Well, no. Well, usually it's like 2 to 3 people, so it's not the whole team. We just identified, like in the team, we have people that are more focused on front end, and others that are more focused on back end, like server work inside the backend tech team. So we try to pick someone for each department. There might be like myself again, depending. And so 2 to 3 people, just to have more people like, have an impression, and also give the opportunity to the candidate to get a, more varied impression of what the team is.
Absolutely, yeah. See if you can scare them off.
No, that's not the point. Yes.
the questions that are coming through in the Discord, I think, are from people that probably don't have the experience you're looking for, but obviously, hopefully, one day they might, or they might fit something else at Outplay. So, I mean, in terms of speculative applications, is there anything in particular you would be looking for that would help a speculative application stand out?
Right. So at the moment, we are pretty interested in people who have experience. All right. So that is our main focus right now. But since we are looking for more than one person, should we be able to cover maybe a good, strong candidate? We might be more flexible on the other. So I would say, first of all, you can apply if you think your studies or your experience is anyway in the right direction, and but having cloud related experience is what matters the most to us. So in that case, it might not be necessarily AWS, but for the moment, having some type of cloud exposure is really important to us.
Yep. Okay, and again, this wouldn't be relevant for now, but we've got Foxy Spirit asking, and this is a general Outplay question. Is there capacity for people to take a job while they're still studying? Work part-time while they're still studying part-time as well?
Right. Well, I can answer from the point of view of what I am looking for, and in my case, it would be a no. But I wouldn't exclude there may be other departments. So if you check on the Outplay careers page, there are other open positions. So there might be a case for that, but I don't specifically know. So that's a good question to ask. Maybe if you apply, you can review. We will review that and give you an answer.
Well, and I know you've got colleagues from HR on the Discord, so it's the perfect question to ask them. I know Anna's on the Discord, so ask her. Okay, I think that's it. I can't. My technical knowledge isn't letting me come up with any more questions. I want to come up with something to try and trip you up on the technical architecture of something, but it's not going to happen, is it? or if I can do that, then it's worrying. So
okay.
No, that's been great. Thank you for coming on. And as you said, obviously you've highlighted the two positions you've got today, but Outplay have a bunch of other positions. So find out more about them in the Discord. There will be an email go out in about 40 minutes that has links to all the companies from today, to their websites, and there you can browse all the positions they've got, whether it's in Angelo's team or elsewhere in Outplay. So do just have a browse through them, and even if you don't end up getting to work for Angelo, you'll maybe get to work with them in another department of Outplay. You never know. Yeah.
Good luck to everybody anyway.
Brilliant. Angelo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Colin, for having me.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, great stuff. As a final reminder, if you're not on the Discord, you want to get on. We always get people jumping into the YouTube halfway through. The studios and we can't pick up questions from the YouTube chat. So if you want to get anything to us, a question to put to the companies on the live stream, or you want to ask the companies directly, you've got to be on the Discord. Discord is discord.gamesjobs.live. Put that into a browser and it will redirect you to the Games Jobs Live Discord server. Get on there. If you've got a question for any of our next couple of speakers, put them in the live stream questions channel. And if you've got questions for Angelo, Outplay, or any of the other companies that have been or about to be, put them in their own dedicated companies channel, and someone there will get back to you. But moving on, we have a team developing the loveliest game, which they describe as a gentle puzzle exploration game set in a world that couldn't be happier to see you. From Puny Astronaut, here's Cian.
Hello.
Cian.
How's it going?
Very good. What a lovely quote. We're looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing more. Meantime,
Yeah, me too.
I'll leave it over to you so that we can hear more from you.
Thank you very much. I will queue up my presentation. And hopefully that's up. Cool, good stuff. Okay, hello, I'm Kian. I'm the MD at Puny Astronaut. I have two positions to talk about today, but first, to give you a quick overview of us at the studio. If it'll work, there we go. So we are originally a student team. The kind of founding members met at Outplay University decades ago, it seems like now. And we were developing a game for Dare to Be Digital at the time. And as Colin well knows, the game that we were developing won the Channel 4 prize during Dare to Be Digital. And basically the rest is history. So since that point, we kind of received a bit of funding to keep working on the game that we were developing at that stage and improve on it and make it kind of bigger and better. And then as we were kind of developing it further, we received basically a second round of investment and a partnership with 4J Studios. So for those of you who might not know, 4J Studios were the developers for the console edition of Minecraft, and they're also based up here in Dundee with us. And they were able to kind of give us the runway that we needed to take Sky Tales from a nice kind of student game to a really ambitious and exciting and bigger, cool like indie game. And that's what we've been working on for the last few years. The team has grown quite a lot since university. We've more than doubled now. And all of that time and hard work has poured into Sky Tales. Sky Tales, as Colin said, it's a puzzle exploration game set in a world that couldn't be happier to see. You play as Sky, the friendly dragon, and you're flying around these charming, indulgent environments, solving puzzles, helping the denizens of the world, and discovering all the secrets that there are to find. So if that sounds like something that you'd like to help us finish up and keep working on, and we sound like a team that you'd like to join, great. Here's a little bit more information about the couple of positions that we have available. So the game program position that we have is a mid-level position. So we are looking ideally for someone who has professional experience in the role. Console experience is a bonus. It's not necessarily essential, but we are developing Sky Tales for consoles. At the moment, our kind of focus is on Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo Switch is even a further bonus than just kind of any console experience. We are developing Sky Tales in Unreal Engine. So not only is Unreal Engine experience essential, but a kind of a strong understanding and kind of mastery really of Unreal Engine is essential for this position. We are looking for someone that can kind of dive straight in and help us tackle a lot of our kind of gameplay related features and any issues that we might have in kind of making sure that they are as good as they possibly can be. With regard to the working arrangement, so as is listed on our website, for the right candidate, this can be a fully remote position. Essentially, we're looking for someone that would be able to kind of completely manage their own time, has had plenty of experience working remotely, and would be bringing quite a high level of skill to the position. For anyone that wouldn't necessarily meet those quite high requirements, we would be wanting someone that could work with us in the studio eventually. So obviously we're all working remotely at the moment, but next year, once we all would expect to have returned to the studio, we would like that person to join us in the studio if they're not this quite experienced programmer in that position. All the information for both of these positions, by the way, is up on our website, punyastronaut.com, and I'll be around in the Discord to answer questions after this. The other position that we have open is social media manager. So our social media page is in dire need of someone that can kind of give it a lot of TLC. that can look after it on a very regular basis. It's a part-time position. There may be an error on the website listing. It may say full-time now that I think about it, but it is a part-time position to begin with. This person would have full responsibility for our social media channels. So everything would be down to you. All of our strategy, either kind of the day-to-day management of those channels would be all down to this person. Previous professional experience is strongly desired. We would like someone that has done this before, that has experience in the position in a professional capacity. They must be able to process and generate new promotional materials as well. So obviously, kind of using our game as the well of all of our content, and we have a lot of content already that's ready to go out. But this person will need to be able to produce their own video clips, GIFs, screenshots, any other promotional materials needed for social media campaigns. This person will need to be able to handle all that themselves. Again, like the programming position that we have, it is a remote position to begin with. And again, for the right candidate, this could remain a remote position. But we really value having people in the office and being able to kind of work next to one another and kind of bounce creatively off one another. So, as I say, this is a remote position. This is being advertised as a remote position. But for the right candidate, we would love you to be able to keep an open mind to as to kind of joining us in the studio at a later date. And we would like that to be a kind of viable option for applicants. So happy for that to be something that we discuss at the time, but definitely something to keep in mind once you give us your application. Hopefully I'm not going on too long, Colin, but that's pretty much me at this stage. So that's my contact information there. As I say, I'll be on the Discord as well if you need to throw me any quick questions on that side. So thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you. Do you want to just leave your contact details up there? We'll just leave that up for a minute, just so that folk can get in touch. Phone number as well. That's brave. You'll get stalked.
This may be like a slightly kind of repurposed presentation. Feel free, I guess, to use my phone number, but maybe stick to the email.
No, don't use the phone number. Just email Cian. However, even if you are looking for a fully remote role, I'm a Dundee boy myself. Dundee is an amazing city. If you're going to think about moving anywhere, it's a very good option. So well worth having a look at that. And a lovely office as well, which you've probably barely been in.
I think it's a horrible thought, but I think we may have spent more time out of the office than we spent in the office now. I'd have to kind of check my dates on that, but yeah, we've not spent anywhere near as much time as we'd have liked to have spent in this brand new office that we're very, very lucky to have. Can see
the water there in the background. Cracking setting.
According to the kind of the current concepts for the Eden project, which was announced for Dundee, there's supposed to be something like a big kind of spire in the middle of the water there. So we'll have a cool view of part of the Eden project eventually as well.
Absolutely, great stuff. And then, probably a good question for you, because Puny Astronaut's not, I know you said it feels like a long time, but it's not actually been around for that long. It's 4 years or something, I guess, as a company. But you've gone through, starting a company and growing a company is always, you learn so much. But then to go through a massive transition of a pandemic as well, and move from in-office working to remote working is another massive transition. What's been the sort of pros and cons for you of both?
Well, I think it probably goes without saying, but communication is the biggest hurdle for us, and it's kind of something that we're constantly trying to correct against. Almost, we're constantly trying to encourage as much porous communication as possible. It's so difficult when you're kind of used to being in the same room with everyone. when you kind of talk out loud or you have a conversation between two people, people around you are going to hear what you're saying. The same obviously isn't true when you're working remotely, when you're kind of in your own spaces. There are definitely kind of upsides to working remotely. Having that bit more time, I think, in your own space is great. But I think so many of us really miss that kind of creative energy that you get from working in an office. But I think thanks to us adapting to this, thanks to the kind of over a year now that we spent doing this, that's why we are able to kind of consider a flexible approach to working arrangements for new candidates. It's why we're happy to kind of talk about potentially a permanently remote position for candidates for these positions.
Okay, great stuff. We've got Martin in the Discord just asking about the experience you're looking for. Is that blueprints or code?
Ideally both. Ideally you'd have a good foundation in C++, and be very, very comfortable with blueprints. I'm going to be very careful on what I'm saying because I'm not a programmer, but certainly kind of a lot of the focus for the gameplay programming job day to day is in blueprints. But there are occasions where you'll need to basically rewrite a system in C++, and we need to know that whoever's in this position is going to be able to do that and is going to be comfortable doing that.
Okay, great. And then a more general question. I mean, what is there any sort of red flags that you come up in an application? If someone sends something, is there something that's just an absolute no, don't put that in an application that you would recommend people avoid doing?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think if there's anything off the top of my head that comes to mind without sounding mean. My advice would be when you're sending an application, a cover letter, like even like a really short cover letter, is always appreciated. Candidates that send nothing but a CV and then not even much substance in the kind of the email that comes with the CV, that would be a bit of a red flag for me. We're still a small indie studio. Get on with ability is a big thing for us. So getting across a bit of a sense of who you are and what your personality is like through your cover letter or through your email introduction will really go a long way into kind of helping us see how you're going to fit into the team.
That's because I mean it's a common question, to cover letter or not, and there's always a range of answers. Is your idea of not having one being a red flag the fact that it deprives you of information, you're not getting a sense about the person's personality, or is it more indicative of somebody not caring enough and just firing off thousands of applications?
Well, I'd say it's probably a little bit of both, but it really is the case for us that the person that we're hiring, the kind of personality that's joining the team, that is almost as important as the skills that they're bringing to the team. We really need kind of everyone to be synchronizing quite well and communicating effectively. And if we're not able to get a sense that you are a good communicator and you're open and you're kind of like ready to join the team and be kind of even a reasonably vocal member of the team, then that would just be kind of a point of concern for me. If I was able to dig a bit further and kind of find a personal website that kind of had like an about me section and gave you a little bit more information, then that would kind of offset that anxiety that I might have if you didn't include any of that information in your application. But as I say, even a couple of paragraphs just about what excited you about the position that we're offering and why you think you'd be a good fit for the team. That's all that we're looking for, really.
And mentioning you like dragons and exploration games and stuff like that probably helps.
It's all a plus. Yeah, flattery as well. It's always a good strategy. Really anything that kind of gives us a bit of flavour of who you are, really.
Perfect. Okay, Cian, that's been great. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us this afternoon. You're on the Discord?
I am. Yep, I'm there at the moment. So yeah, I'll be around for quite a while to answer questions.
Brilliant. Just to bore everyone silly, if you're not already on, get on the Discord. It's discord.gamesjobs. Sorry, I'll repeat that again so I make sure I get it right. Discord.gamesjobs.live. If you punch that into a browser, it should redirect you. Get on there, ask Cian about the Puny positions, ask all the other companies about their positions. And if you like what you see, follow up. There will be an email go out in about 20 minutes time with links to all the companies. So just ping them the applications with a cover letter to Puny Astronaut for the jobs you think you're well suited for. And we're hoping to see people in jobs. So Cian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Colin. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.
Great stuff. Okay, and finally, we'll move straight on. We have a company that focuses on doing game content for existing games. They develop and publish ridiculously highly detailed train routes for the Train Sim World games on PC and console. So if you're in at trains, you'll definitely want to pay attention. So here to talk to us today is the CEO of Rivet Games, Tim Gatland.
Hi, Colin.
Hey, Tim.
Thanks for inviting me. How's
Not
things?
at all. It's very good. It's on time. This is
Excellent. All right.
This is very unusual, so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. And to keep it that way, I'll leave everyone in your capable hands.
Great, thanks. This is a little bit of a strange session for me. This is not me talking about jobs that we're recruiting for right now. This is a bit of a coming soon session. But when Colin mentioned that he was having the event today, it was just too good a opportunity not for me to talk about what we're trying to do. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about an initiative that we're involved in that may be relevant to quite a lot of you. So it's a chance to talk about that as well. So what I'll do is talk a little bit about Rivet. I'm then going to talk about a program called Kickstart, the roles we're going to be looking for, and what we'll be doing next. So Rivet Games. We are based in Scotland, but like most of the other people that have been talking today, we are scattered to the winds. We haven't met together as a company since March last year. Our base is where I am at the moment in Stirling. There's nobody else here, but we are very open to flexible working for the right candidates and the right roles, even once we all are not bound by the same restrictions. We were established in 2019. We have about 22 people at the moment. And as Colin said, everything we do is train simulation. So we model trains, we create routes for people to drive those model trains down. And some of the things that we've done recently, we modeled a very spectacularly beautiful area of Switzerland called the Arosa Line. We then followed that by modeling Glasgow, which was a different type of beauty. It was beautiful, but different type. And then last year we modeled famously the Isle of Wight train line, which is all of about 8 miles long. And we got a great reaction to it, except for some people thought we should make it a bit longer. Unfortunately, you get rather wet if you go more than about 8 miles along this line. We work with a partner company called Dovetail Games, who are one of the leading suppliers of train simulators. And this is all for entertainment, by the way. We're not into serious gaming. This is people that want to be train drivers but never will. We actually formed when Dovetail closed down their office in Stirling, so we inherited some people who also have a background at Dovetail Games. And the key product we work with is a thing called Train Sim World, and that is built on UE4. So for some of our more technical roles, we do look for people with a bit of UE4 experience as well. So the roles we're talking about. The government announced a scheme last year, which is called the Kickstart scheme. And this is about creating opportunities and new jobs, not replacing existing jobs, not the existing jobs we have. This is new jobs for 16 to 24-year-olds. The government actually provide a chunk of funding for 6 months for the first 25 hours a week. And what this has allowed us to do is to think about creating some jobs that we otherwise probably wouldn't have done for at least a couple of years. So it's actually bringing forward some of the roles that we thought, yeah, maybe we'd like that role. Now let's try and see if we can bring that forward. It's all about giving unemployed people their first step on a career ladder, or people who have been unemployed a while, a way of getting back into things. So that's what this is all about. Unfortunately, if you're over 24, if you've currently got a job, or you're not in the UK, please go and watch Netflix. This is not for you. The positions can also get training and other development support. So it's not just about what you do with us as a job, it's also about where you might be trying to take your career. And the scheme, although it's a government scheme, for our industry, it's managed by one of our trade bodies, UKI, and also a charity called Into Games. For any of you that don't know, go off and look at their website, Into Games. They are a charity all about getting people into our industry. I would recommend having a quick look at the government website. So if you just type in gov.uk and then search Kickstart, you'll see a lot about this scheme. And then both UKI and Into Games are other resources you can look at. Thank you, Colin. You've done magic. You put up the prompt there. So the roles we're looking for, as I said, we're not actually looking for replacement roles. So some of the roles we're looking for are things that we never hired for before. And so we're actually pretty flexible about the sorts of skills that people might bring the sort of training that they've had. And we are really open to people who are coming straight from university, or perhaps only with a little bit of experience, or people that are trying to move into something new. We've identified 4 roles. One is the classic testing role, but we're looking for a tester that's kind of a train nut tester. So when you're testing a train in our sim, you kind of need to have actually learned some of the how do you drive one of these things, what the signal means, and so on. We're looking for an audio engineer. To date, we've always outsourced our audio. We've got audio engineers in. And what we really want to explore is whether that would make more sense to have somebody who is really part of our team doing that work. So as we are trying to model animations of trains, the controls, the power, and so on, would it make more sense to have those guys closely working with our programmers rather than something we do towards the end of the project of throwing the thing out and saying, hey, audio engineer, please do this. Another role that we're thinking about is an assistant games producer. We have a couple of guys that do our production, Laura and Lee, and we're thinking about, would it make sense for them to have people helping them, learning a little bit about what we do. And the final job is actually a design job. We've never had a sort of game design person. That's always been done by other people in the company. And we're actually looking about whether or not we should make that a discrete role. So those are the 4 jobs. We always advertise our current roles on our website, rivet-games.com, and they're not there yet because we are still just going through the sort of final stages of the process to be part of the Kickstart scheme. And when we've got through that, we will probably do the interviewing and sort of throwing these jobs out in 2 chunks. So we'll pick 2 of the roles, and we'll do those in the next couple of weeks, and the other 2 probably after the end of the summer. So key thing, how to get involved here. Please wait until the jobs are on the website. We will have a discrete email address to apply for these jobs instead of our normal careers one. If you're watching this, you've got experience, you wouldn't otherwise qualify for the Kickstart scheme, but you think you need to send us your CV because you're a massive train nut or you've got experience working in simulation. Our normal email address is careers@rivetgames.com. Please just send us your details there and we'll have a look at those. I should say that the Kickstart roles, the government only supports them for 6 months. So we're not putting these out as 6 months, we trying something, we're going to throw it away. We are hoping that by experimenting with these roles, there will be permanent jobs that follow, but we don't know that. So they will be 6-month contracts, but we are hoping and expecting them to turn into permanent jobs. That's it. Just to summarize, we're a train sim company. If that's not what you're into, don't get involved. This doesn't make any sense. If you want to make Mario-esque games, that's not us. We're all about modeling the world in a very, very high degree of accuracy, modeling trains that perform the way real trains work. These are experimental positions for us, and that's why the Kickstart scheme is so great. It gives us an opportunity to bring fresh talent in. We love that. The roles will be on our website, along with all of our other roles, rivetgames.com. So please keep an eye on that. And I'd also recommend having a look at Kickstart on both gov.uk and also Uki and the In2 games. Colin, what have I forgotten?
I think that's about covered most of it. Yeah, I mean, just to stress, the Kickstart scheme is only, even though these are remote jobs, and I think a lot of the Kickstart jobs, and I think there's 100+ jobs going, even though they're all remote pretty much. They're all for candidates that are in the UK. This is a UK government scheme, isn't it? So fully remote, but remote within the UK. Someone's asking, am I eligible for Kickstarter if I'm a UK graduate from the EU? I'm not sure. You'll need to check the Kickstart page, I'm afraid.
Yeah, go to gov.uk and have a look at that. The actual technical requirement is that you are currently out of work as well. There is a bit of flexibility about this. It's like if you're just finishing a course and would be, so there is a residency requirement. I don't make these rules, unfortunately.
One question from Amy in the Discord, just asking what exactly you mean by a game designer, because quite rightly they're saying that the term's meaning varies. It's probably one of the broadest game titles in the industry.
Yeah. Oh wow, I love that. That's actually a question I hadn't really thought about. I love that one. So in the simulation world, what is a game is a really, really good question. So the design part, we generally call it scenario design. What that means is, how do you challenge people? So what are the challenges about the simulation of operating a train? And so, in some cases it can be the weather's bad. Can you design a timetable that actually makes it very, very hard to drive the train to the timetable with very poor conditions, where the visibility may be down, the track will be slippery, so the train performs differently. There may be more people, less people at the stations. People may take longer to get on and off the trains and so on. So this is all about creating interesting experiences within the confines of a realistic train simulator. It's not about designing, a dragon's just landed on the tracks, how are you going to put out its fire or something like that. We are real world. We sometimes do have, a tree's fallen on the tracks, how are you going to deal with that and what are you going to do? But it's much more about getting the most out of the system. So it's a systems management task that our players love.
There's been a couple of questions around being a train nut, essentially. People saying, well, I'm not, I like trains. I've got an interest in trains. My nephew's really into trains. I'd be quite happy working on trains, but I wouldn't describe myself as a train nut.
Now, and funnily enough, I've been working on Train Simulator in various roles, shapes and sizes for about 15 years. And I don't regard myself as a train nut either. But you have to like mechanical things. I actually regard myself as more of a flying nut than a train nut. You have to like the accuracy. You have to like vehicles or something like vehicles. You have to like the organization and the ordering. And I'll use flight sim as an example. If you're a flight sim fan, Well, you'll appreciate what air traffic control do. Well, signals do the same thing. They're all about stopping planes hitting each other or stopping trains hitting each other. It's understanding and liking those kind of systems. So do you need to, know the difference between a class 150 Mark A, Mark B? No, you don't. But do that people care about that in the same way that, when I ask people what's their favorite car, you don't just say a Porsche, you say a Porsche 911 1990 or whatever it is you like. It's understanding and having an affinity for people and our customers who really, really care about this stuff. They really care about, were these the right liveries for that era? Were these the trains that operated in that area, in that era?
Absolutely, yeah. And I've heard other companies, Traveller's Tales and stuff that worked on all the Lego licenses and Harry Potter and Star Wars. I mean, they talk about, people need to have I think it doesn't even need to be a love, I think, just an appreciation, because otherwise you're not going to convey that into what you're making, and fans pick up on it in an instant, don't they?
And that is what our customers, that is our customers are those people, and we really respect them. Not everybody does. We really do. They love their world. There's no such thing as a train fan. You either love steam trains, diesel trains, or electric trains. You love British trains, American trains, German trains. They're all different. They're trains from different eras. So yeah, we really respect that, and you need to understand. You need to understand that and learn to love it too.
Great. Okay, Tim, that's been really interesting. Thank you very much for joining us. You're on the Discord.
I am on Discord. Kevin was helping me earlier. He's had to go off and, believe it or not, go boxing. I would say the Kickstart scheme, we're not, there are lots of companies are using this. And so I do see this as a great opportunity for people in the UK. So please, please, please check it out. And even if Rivet aren't right for you, there may be another company that can use that scheme and help you on that scheme. And if you talk to people and they're unaware of it, talk to companies, give them a kick and tell them to go and look at it, because it's a great way, and we see it as a fantastic encouragement for new talent coming into our industry, and we always, always, always need that.
Good advice. Great.
I'm sorry, I wasn't meant to be plugging Kickstart. I apologize.
Into Games will be over the moon. So you're doing their job for them. Perfect. Great. Tim, thanks very much for joining us. Cheers. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's event, I'm afraid, but we've had a ton of great advice. We've heard about a lot of different studios and ways of working, and games for train fans, games for social good, games on mobile, games on console, the whole spectrum. So an amazing array of opportunities today. You've still got the companies on the Discord for half an hour, so make sure you're on the Discord. Get the most out of them, because after this half an hour passes, they're gone. They need to go for their dinner and then back to the day job after that. The buck then passes over to you to get applying for the jobs. So chat to them, get applying. There is an email go now any minute now that's got direct links to all the companies. So take a look at that, follow up with the ones you fancy. And it just remains for me to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hope this has been interesting and useful. We do have other events coming, so do check out everything we've got up on the Games Jobs Live website, which is www.gamesjobs.live. Up there, in particular, you'll find details of our next event, which is an Unreal Jobs focused event. So any discipline, but just working in Unreal. That's on Wednesday, the 11th of August. So if you go to our website, you'll get the sign up details there. That one's also free to come along to. But also on our website, as I mentioned before, you'll get the interactive map where you can explore over 2,000 jobs across the UK. You'll get the jobs report. You'll get the region breakdowns, loads of information. So do check that out. And best of luck in your job searches. We've also got a game jam that's is just in its final stages, but if anyone's interested, we've got the award ceremony of the game jam happening this Sunday. It'll be on this channel, the Games Jobs Live YouTube channel, this Sunday, the 1st of August at 7 p.m. UK time. So feel free to check that out, where we'll be finding out who the winners of the game jam were. We had over 115 games this time, so it will be an amazing selection of quality. So it'll be interesting to see who's won. And if you're interested in taking part in future ones, again, stay tuned for news. But meantime, get chatting to the companies, get applying for jobs. Best of luck, everyone, and thanks for joining. Goodbye.